Hello, my friends. Today's news is quite shocking. Russians have indeed started advancing on the ground into Ukrainian positions, taking the war to a new level. However, I'll discuss this a bit later. I understand that Russians have been preparing for offensive actions, but the fact that a significant assault has begun today, even in the Siversk direction, surprises me. Experts had estimated that the Russian offensive potential should have been exhausted by now. Today, we witness intensifying attacks. Last night marked the start of a new wave of assault operations, so let's begin with the entire Lugansk direction. So, in the Siversk area, after a prolonged lull and extensive artillery shelling, the occupiers have commenced their assault on Bilohorivka and Pryutne. There are also observed offensive actions in the woods toward Grigorivka. All of this is accompanied by a high volume of shelling. The situation is tough across the entire front line, and we are waiting to see how these battles will conclude. In the Crimea direction, the occupiers continue their shelling and attacks towards Nevsky. However, as before, there have been no successes and the front line remains unchanged. But before we continue, I ask you to share this video on social media and watch it to the end. It would greatly help promote my channel. Thank you. In the Svatova direction, the occupiers continue their attacks on the village of Nadia. So they are attempting to increase the number of attacks with tank support, but they haven't achieved any success. The front line remains unchanged as it has been. This situation is very challenging in the Kupiansk direction. The occupiers are deploying a significant number of forces to storm Sinkivka and are launching attacks in the Ivanivsky area. They haven't been successful, and even the Grey Zone, the Ukrainian Armed Forces managed to conduct a counterattack and push back the Russians. However, as you can understand, this is not a long-term situation. The front line is quite dynamic, with positions changing hands frequently. Today, attacks have intensified in the Ivanivsky area and shelling continues. Furthermore, yesterday, the occupiers targeted the post terminal Nova Poshta in Kharkiv, resulting in injuries and fatalities. So in general, they attempted to destroy everything they could.
Fellow Ukrainians, today my team and I are in Kherson region, in Mykolaiv. There are a lot of tasks. A meeting with the military commander-in-chief Zaluzhny, chief of the general staff Shaptala, commander of the Odessa Operational Strategic Grouping of Troops, Hanatov, and commander of the Marine Sodol, head of the State Border Guard Service, General Daniko. A special format, a narrow circle, regarding the situation in Kherson and the region, in the south in general, as well as in Donetsk region, first of all, Avdiivka. I am grateful to all our guys who are holding their ground and destroying the occupier day after day. These days, Russian losses are really impressive, and it is exactly the kind of losses of the occupier that Ukraine needs. We also discussed the Kupiansk direction in Kharkiv region. I held a meeting in Mykolaiv with the leadership of the region and the city, the military, the law enforcers to discuss the protection of the region, our infrastructure, our ports, corridors in the Black Sea. We also analyzed social issues that are important for Mykolaiv and the cities and villages of the region: energy, heat supply, water supply to Mykolaiv and the region, the quality of water supplied to the city, social services, economic activity.
In the Bakhmut direction, there is a significant increase in enemy activity, specifically in the Vuhledar area. Here, the Russians have initiated offensive actions toward the village of Vasiukivka, attempting to expand their controlled territory. Attacks also continue in the direction of Bogdanivka, battles for Khromove, and previously mentioned skirmishes near Klishchiivka and Andriivka. This situation overall remains highly challenging, with relentless shelling along the entire front line. The Avdiivka direction is equally intense, and the situation is critical. It seems the Russians, inspired by the use of underground tunnels by military forces in Gaza, have decided to employ a similar tactic near Avdiivka. They are digging tunnels to approach Ukrainian positions underground and emerge unexpectedly behind our troops. This demonstrates a high level of tactical innovation and intelligence on the part of the Russians. In the evening update, the General Staff stated that the Ukrainian Armed Forces had repelled attacks in Avdiivka. This may be a mistake, but the map already indicates that the occupiers are advancing closer to the city center. It suggests the battles are ongoing within the city. While this might be attributed to a small group successfully infiltrating, we await confirmation of this information. So fierce battles are also reported in the areas like Tonenke, Pervomaiske, Stepove, and ongoing clashes near Novokalinovo. The situation is indeed extremely challenging, with a high number of attacks that Ukrainian forces must continue to repel. The Ukrainian Armed Forces are doing their utmost, but the situation is still evolving. There is a significant escalation of enemy activities further south in the Mariinka area, and attacks on villages like Pobeda and Krasnohorivka have resumed. And periodic fighting is also taking place near Novomikhailivka, accompanied by heavy shelling along the entire front line. The Vuhledar direction is equally surprising, with the massive influx of Russian forces launching a significant offensive. Battles are being reported in the Pryutne area and across the fields towards Rivnopil. The situation near Staromaiorsk is complex, with the occupiers shelling the village and attempting to approach Ukrainian positions. While the attacks have been repelled so far, the situation remains challenging. Battles are also ongoing in the direction of Zolotyne and renewed attacks in the Pryutne area accompanied by intense shelling. In addition, attacks were reported yesterday in the Poltavka area, with the Ukrainian Armed Forces reportedly repelling all assaults. So it appears that the occupiers had amassed a significant number of troops and were waiting for the Ukrainian counteroffensive to conclude before launching their own. We are witnessing this offensive today, and while it is significant, the Russians haven't achieved any noticeable success. The Ukrainian Armed Forces are successfully repelling all attacks, and the occupiers are suffering significant losses. This is not surprising given the types of forces serving in the Russian army. One Russian war correspondent even showed how communication personnel operate in the Russian military.
Ребята, тувинцы, их называют говорящие с ветром, как племя Чероки в известном фильме, но и не прослушать, а прослушать не понять. Вот Сергей Кожугетович, золотые люди, золотые люди. Язык красивый, ну реально.
In the Zaporizhzhia direction, the occupiers continue their attacks in the Robotyne area and shelling is ongoing. However, the situation remains stable with no changes along the front line. As you can understand, today is not the time for a counteroffensive and all of the Russian attacks need to be repelled. Therefore, plans for advancing to the south are currently suspended. In the Kherson direction, following the movement of our forces to the left bank, the occupiers decided to target the entire right bank, resulting in ongoing shelling along the entire front line. Unfortunately, it's proven difficult to halt these attacks.
Yesterday, Russian military launched a record number of aerial bombs in Kherson Oblast, resulting in casualties. Natalia Humanyuk, the head of the United Coordination Press Center for the Defense of the South, reported this during the telethon of Unity News. Hostile tactical aviation operated during the night, conducting prolonged bombings, including the use of guided aerial bombs. According to her, from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., a record number of aerial bombs were recorded, 36 in total, emphasized Humanyuk. In Kherson Oblast, the enemy released 2 to 4 aerial bombs on each settlement.
And that's all from me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.